everybody, and welcome to part 1 in our series of how to build a website. Let's get right down into this. So, first off, you have a number of programs to choose from when it comes to editing your website. You have Dreamweaver here, which is good for beginners because, well, I'll show you why it's good. Basically, you have the option of coding it or just designing it. So basically, if I say hello here, I could build my entire website just as if it was a Word document. How are you? And then I click on code and it gives me the code. So that's one reason why it's good for beginners, but we'll get back to this in a minute. Your second option is Notepad++, which is my preferred text editor for a couple of reasons. And then your last option is Notepad, which comes with just about any Windows computer. I don't really like it, so we're going to just get rid of that for now. Let's get right into it. We're going to use Notepad++ to get us started. As you could actually see, let's look at Dreamweaver for a second. If you take a look here, the pre-made file, when I went to File New and told it I wanted an HTML page, it put all of this here for me. Now, what does all this stuff mean up here? Okay, let's talk about that. Basically, this first line up here, that is telling your internet browser that it is reading an HTML document, right? Now, where it says header or head, this is basically where you're going to keep your metadata. We'll talk about that later, and it's also where the title tag is. But we're going to get into all of that later. For now, let's just start with the basics. So, we're going to do something called a tag. See the greater than, less than sign there? That and that. Those are tags. Whenever you type a command in HTML, they have to be between tags. Now, when you open a tag, as I did here, this is called opening a tag, you also have to close the tag. To do that, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to put a little slash there to tell it that you close the tab. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we need to tell it that we're starting the body of our page. So we started the tag, we closed the tag. Now everything in here is part of the page. So how do you make a paragraph? That's quite simple. You're going to do P for paragraph. And you're also going to close the tag. Now this is just me instinctively. Whenever I open it, I always close it. You don't have to do that. You can type your entire thing. You could say HTML, you could do body, you could say paragraph, then you could type everything, and then you can go and end it all. But I feel it just keeps everything more organized if you close it once you open the tag. That's only a matter of personal preference. It's completely up to you. Okay, so we're going to type hello world. Okay, and we ended the paragraph. Next command, basic command, it's called break. It's going to put a little space between our paragraphs here. I'm going to make a new paragraph now. And we're just going to say paragraph 2. Okay, so now we have it typed. We're going to go to save here. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for now. We're going to call it index.html. Whenever you type index, your website is going to go there and it's going to look. Let me rephrase that. When you go to a website, the first page that the browser will look for is going to be called index. That's why we're going to call it index. Now if we go to my desktop here, we have the file. We're going to double click that. It's going to open up in Chrome for me. And there we go. We have hello world and paragraph 2. Okay, so the next thing that I seem to have forgotten, because I'm very silly, we forgot to give it a title tag. So that's pretty basic. To do a title tag, you need to do a header tag. And we're going to open up a, oops, I don't want that. We're going to call it title. And then we're going to end the title. We're going to call the title My Test Page. Now, what does the title do? It's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to go back here. We're going to open it up again. And now the title of the page is called My Test Page. So that concludes the basics of HTML using Notepad++. Really, it's good for editing websites, but to completely build a website, you'd be better off with Dreamweaver, especially when you're new to web design. It's great because it gives you all the little commands you need along the side, and you basically just design your site, and it's going to give you the code, and then you put the code on the site. So, you know, tables are a good thing. I'm not a big fan of them, but, you know, you do need them for a lot of things. You could basically fill this with content or pictures, and one thing you're going to want to do is, okay, let's delete that for a second, actually. We're going to want that one column. What you could do is you can make this into a menu. So you would make a picture. So let's say, you know, you want home, about us, and contact us. You would go to Photoshop and you would make a picture for each one. So you would say, you know, home, and then you make another, you know, you would save that, you make another picture called about us, and you would bring them all in here, and you would add a link to them, and you have yourself a menu. It's perfect. I almost forgot to explain linking to you. To make a link, you're going to type ahref equal and start a quote. And now you're going to type what you want the link to go to. We're just going to say www.google.com. I like Google. And you're going to end the quotes. Okay. Now everything after that is going to have a link to Google. That is, until I close the tabs. We're going to do /A. That's going to end the link. So everything between them is going to be linked. So Hello World should be linked to Google. Let's try it out. Go to Google. And it didn't bring me to Google because I did not make it an absolute URL. What is an absolute URL? An absolute URL is http://www.google.com. That's very important, and I can't believe I forgot that. There we go. Now it brings us to Google and we click on that. Absolute URLs are very important to use. That way there's no confusion between the browser and your website. It might take a little longer to type it out, but it's definitely worth it. So that's the basics of HTML. So you can go ahead, play around with it. It really helps if you write these down and learn what each of the tags does. It's very important that you remember what they do, because this is only the basics. It's going to get a little more complex. We're going to have another video sometime next week with the more advanced parts of HTML. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Rate, subscribe. Have a nice day. Enjoy your life.